Hello and welcome to this taste challenge. And in this taste challenge, I have two 40% alcohol blended Scotch whiskeys. This is McCormick blended Scotch whiskey introduced. Well, I don't know when. I know the distillery was founded in 1856 in Weston, Missouri, the Halliday Distillery. So McCormick had this on the website for years. When I would check their website for various things, I'd look through it. Then it suddenly disappeared off the website, which I found was odd. And it had showed up, come on, focus. It showed up in Jefferson Parish, and these liter bottles were $4.99. Now look at the label. It looks like a yellow picnic tablecloth. I thought it must be discontinued. That's why they're selling it so cheap. I sent an email to the company, asked them, do you still make the product? No response. So I'm thinking this is probably discontinued, although I do see some liquor stores that still have it listed, although they might have back stock of it. So you may or may not see it around. We didn't see it around a lot when it was in production or, whatever. So thank you, David, for this gift. He paid $4.99 and bought a bunch of them. Okay, this is Glen Logie. Introduced 10 years ago, 2015. There's a painting of the Glen Logie. If it'll focus, there's the Glen Logie in Scotland. Yeah, it's focusing now. Now, when I bought this at Total Wine and More about 4 years ago, it was $9.99. There it is, the Glen Logie. 99 cents. And that's a real place, the Glen Logie. There's a wildlife refuge out there. You can go hiking. Probably dangerous on your own. But $9.99 for this bottle. Now, the price went up very quickly after that, but I did take advantage of it when it was $9.99. I found out that it says distilled, blended, and bottled in Scotland, Hay and MacLeod Limited, Glasgow. I couldn't find anything about Hay and MacLeod except that they handled some brands. But I found out the trademark belongs to Whyte MacKay. Whyte MacKay makes their own Scotch. It's an actual company that produces don't they produce that 151 proof rum, that green and gold label rum from Jamaica, Whyte MacKay, which I've seen at Walmart for a good price, but I would never want to try 151 proof rum. That would seem like too extreme to me. But is this a brand that's made only for sale at Total Wine and More? It might be. On the other hand, I could be wrong, but I do see it at Total Wine and More, and I've never seen it anywhere else. It could be an agreement between Whyte and MacKay and Total Wine and More. Okay, a lot of companies do that. I'll see if they still have it on their website. We'll check that out in a minute. Now, the McCormick, like I say, I think you're not going to see this around. No great loss, but it is a loss because for $18 a liter, it was a pretty good product. But like I said, my friend David found it for $4.99, and I saw it when I went to that store. I saw it $4.99. Crazy. It's pale. It doesn't appear to have any coloring added. Caramel color, which is allowed in Scotland, United States, Canada, Ireland. For certain whiskeys, other whiskeys, no, not allowed. This one does seem to be amber. It could have coloring, but there's no age statement, so it could be aged long enough to where it's going to pick up some color. Let's see if they're still selling Glen Logie. Glen Logie. Yep, they still have it. Let's see. Not available locally. See, it's sold out. $24.99 for a handle. In Encinitas, California. Ooh, I'll show you what they're saying about it. Now, it's part of their Spirits Direct program. Now, some people say that means, but how come I find a lot of other products on Spirits Direct clearly not private label since they're sold all around at every other store. You know, that's so there's what the handle, you're going to come out better buying the handle, okay? Because $9.99 times 2, that's just under $20, and you're going to be getting 1,500. But with this, you get 1,750. You know, I mean, you're not going to save that much money because you say, yeah, but what if I don't like it? Whoops. Yeah, if you don't like it, then you're stuck with it, 1071. Yeah, actually, you come out ahead buying the. Well, honestly, though, they don't have the. They're not even listing the regular size bottle anymore. They're only listing the handle. So there you go. What do they say? Master blended and handpicked from several of Scotland's finest distilleries, this blend uses carefully measured amounts of mature and younger malts, giving the whiskey a rich, balanced flavor. It's on the mild side, not complex. It's on the delicate side, not rich. You can look at that as plain and bland. That could be translated as it's rather plain. Got it that way. Gets a 4 out of 5, an 80. B minus, okay, good in a way. Now they do have some private label knockoff brands like Highland Bird. Now they're trying to play off. And this comes in a beautiful plastic bottle, and it runs for $19.99 for a handle. Oh golly! But who knows? Might be good. I can't really comment on Famous Grouse considering I never had it in my life. Famous Grouse, $29.09 for a handle. The famous Walmart. Whoa, $37.98 for a handle. $37.98 versus $29.09. So you're paying over $7, $8 more. Well, sorry, Walmart, you lose this time, and you lose bad. So I won't be going to Walmart to buy that unless something changes. Ooh. Uh-oh, it says your connection is It was saying my connection was unstable. I don't know, something must have bugged out on it. That's kind of usually that'll happen overnight, like late 2 in the morning till 6 in the morning, the internet, because they're working on it and it'll go out. But usually this time of day, you'll never see unstable connection. That's kind of strange. All right. Anyway, sorry, can't help that. Glen Logie, from memory, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would, especially if you could find the regular size bottle for $9.99. But like I said, they're not listing that one anymore. Doesn't mean anything because Total Wine might not be the only people selling it. But like I said, also, I never saw it anywhere else. The handle is not as good a deal per ounce, but like the price is going up a lot. Because I bought this for $9.99. About a month later, I checked back. It was like $12.99, and now it's up to like $15.99. So the heyday of that is over. Arnold Hopkins says, pick a random animal. Oh, I see what you're saying. Pick a random animal, in that case, an eagle, Pick a random location, Scotland, pick a random spirit and put it into a random wonderful plastic bottle. Right. Nothing says class like that. It's so funny, you know, because their knockoff labels are so, you know, like hokey, you know. Famous bird. And it'd be something like Johnny Talker, label of redness, you know. Daniel Jack's Tennessee whiskey. It's funny, you know. It's funny, like Karen said with the helicopter. It's funny. You know, it's funny. She wasn't saying that later that evening, but do not feed the dog from the food from the table. Okay. Smells very basic, just grains. Malted barley and probably corn, maize, but doesn't have to be corn. But my hands smell like barbecue because I'm grilling some meat outside. I got to go check it in a minute. Appearance, you know, clear. One's golden, one's a little more amber. Aroma, dull, nothing bad. Like, do I smell it and jump back and think, oh, that's horrible. I can't believe it. I can't stand it. It's the worst. No, it's just like, it's kind of ordinary. Price point on these is about the same, so that won't matter. Availability is about the same, meaning you can't get it. So the whole video doesn't really matter when you think about it. No, on mine. Let's go with the taste. And don't worry, I got some more prominent items coming up, like Grant's. And Clan McGregor, you say that's not well regarded. That's a cheap Scot. I know, but it's well known and it's available. Most everybody can get Clan McGregor. Been on the market since 1934. And I got the deal of the century on it. And Johnny Walker Red, Johnny Walker Double Black, Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserve. I'm sure we're all well aware of those. All right, taste. I should have done those when I did the Buchanan's and the White Horse, because they're all Diageo. I don't know why I separated them. I wasn't thinking straight. This tastes like honey and yeasty bread. It's true, honey and yeasty bread, like very yeasty. Oh, it tastes really nice. I have to say. This one is more honey and a little bit of bread. So I think this one must be the McCormick's, because I remember the McCormick's being honey with a little bit of bread. Now, you notice I usually grab the glass with my left hand, because if I'm doing certain things, I use my left hand. If I'm writing, you know, with an ink pen, I use my left hand. But if I'm cutting something with scissors, I use my right hand. I can't get the thing to work with my left hand. It's like, remember, they gave me left-handed scissors in elementary school. Like, how do you use that? And then so when I'm cutting, I use my right hand. And for other things, I'll use my right hand I'll just hold it with my left and use my right hand to do certain things. So am I left-handed for certain things, but like I say, with scissors, I'm right-handed. So I can't figure it out. So I go both ways with that, not with other things. So don't get the wrong idea. Because that would be so dumb. And if you didn't like it, you could just kiss my rainbow. No, but you know, I'm just, as a comic, in all seriousness, it's a gift. I can't help it. But I do use my right hand for scissors, my left hand for writing. And I'm unanimous in that. Arnold Hopkins says scissors. and a glass of liquor, whiskey, looks like. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Scissors and a glass of whiskey. Yeast, yes. Honey, yes. Peat, no. Smoke, absolutely not. There is no smoke in this whiskey whatsoever. And it's a game. Um, Honey. It's just all about the honey. I like honey, clover honey, organic honey, all sorts of honey. Uh, I like the ABBA song Honey Honey, actually. I like the Beach Boys song Wild Honey. Um, I do not like the Beatles song Honey Pie. All right. I like bit of honey. Okay. I am going to call this the McCormick. Scissors and whiskey, a classical combination. Right. Hmm. This whole tournament is turning into a fiasco. I feel like, you know how the Kansas City Chiefs felt after the Super Bowl this past season? Well, I feel worse than that. Well, maybe I don't feel that bad. Two in a row, I got it wrong. Yes, definitely a fan of a bit of honey. And if I was about to be executed and by a firing squad and they would say, "Do you have a last request?" I would say, "Yeah, I want a bit of honey." And I'd just be chewing on it for so long, they would get bored and then they would leave and I would escape because it takes so long to eat one of those. Or I would have a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop, and then the commander of the guard would be like, "Monsieur, how long will it take you to get to the center of that Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop?" I'd say, "The world may never know." So that's the McCormick. Okay, I see what's throwing me off now. Haha, great plan. Might lose a tooth also on that if you're chewing too fast. Oh, yeah, but I would chew slow. I would be going so slow with the firing squad. They would be smoking cigarettes and saying, "Are you ready yet?" I'll be like, "I'm eating my bit of honey. You said I got one last request, and I asked for one bit of honey, just one bit of honey, and you said okay, and now I'm sucking on it." And he would be like, "Monsieur, this is intolerable. I am going to report you to your consulate." And I'd be like, "Sir, this is a non-smoking area. Could you please extinguish those cigarettes?" And if you were staying at the Westin, why did you park your car way over there in that part of town anyway? Now, I checked everything in that car except the rocker panels. All right. Tom is laughing. All right. I figured it out. This is what's throwing me off. And I shouldn't have. And I would blame myself for being somewhat careless and not bookmarking those tasting notes. So that's me. That's on me. That's not on the whiskey. It's not on the weather or humidity and everything. We have some dry air coming in. It's rather cool. It feels nice. So it's the McCormick has the honey, which is really a common feature, and with these blended whiskey, and it has an underlying peatiness, but it's not profound. It's minimal, a minimal underlying peatiness. And I kept sort of, if you want to say, ignoring that, or well, yeah, ignoring it or something. I'm not acknowledging it. So I think I'm gonna get it right from now on. I've gotten it wrong what 4 times now out of this series. It's been a big series, so it doesn't kill my record, but it's not. It is a bit embarrassing. But so I think in the upcoming taste challenges, I'm just gonna have to focus on the the predominance of honey, but an underlying peatiness. And it's very low, very, very low, a very low amount, but it's there. Whereas with the Glen Logie, it really was just honey. Okay, do I recommend both of these? I do, but like I say, the point is probably meaningless since I don't think most people can get these. So if you say, why even make the video? I can't really challenge that. Now, what's coming up more prominent? You know, Johnny Walker Red Label. I mean, Grant's. I have Grant's coming up. I don't think I'll confuse those two, but Grant's is kind of bland, but it's kind of bitey. You know, Grant's got that little, what to me, a bad bite to it. Not pleasant. But anyway, I know I got some Grant's fans that watch and they'd be angry about it. Clan McGregor has a little bit of uniqueness to it. Not too much, but I think I'll be able to get that right. Johnny Walker Red Label, Double Black, and Gold Label Reserve. I can't imagine getting those mixed up with McCormick Blended Scotch. Can't believe it. I just would put, I would actually put money that I would never get those confused. And I'm not a bettor. I'm not a gambler. But yeah, so I think when I sit down and go through the whole thing, if I only got 4 wrong, that wouldn't be so bad. But I think it could have only been 2 wrong if I'd have been a little bit more careful, So, well, what have we discovered going along so far? Well, don't be careless when you're doing taste challenges. Secondly, McCormick does battle. It is competitive. It's competitive. And I'll leave it at that because, like I say, you can't really get it. So no use stretching this out. All right. Well, thanks for watching. And so that should make for, unless I'm overlooking something. I don't think I am, but you know, that is a possibility because it's happened before. But I think we got Grant's, Clan McGregor, Johnny Walker Red Label, Johnny Walker Double Black, and Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserve. And that's 5. I think we have 5 more challenges coming up. And that'll close it out. And then it's, but like I said, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. And then we'll be on to brandy, cognac. Cognac and brandy is the same thing. It's the same thing, but with some little qualifications. But basically, it's the same thing. So get ready for cognac and brandy, and which some people like a lot. Other people, if you say cognac and brandy, they run and you never see them again. All right. Anyway, y'all take care now. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.